The National Electrical Code, specifically Article 800.52b in the 2020 edition, addresses accessibility requirements for telecommunications equipment and associated wiring. This section of the code mandates that such equipment be located in areas that are readily accessible to qualified personnel only. The interpretation of this code requirement is straightforward. Telephone and data equipment must be placed in locations where authorized personnel can easily reach and service it. This means avoiding placements in out-of-the-way places like under cabinets, inside closets, or in other storage areas where access is hindered. There are several reasons behind this requirement. Firstly, emergency responders and maintenance personnel need to have quick access to telecommunications equipment to communicate and operate effectively during emergencies. If the equipment is obstructed or difficult to reach, it can significantly delay response times, potentially jeopardizing safety and operational efficiency. Secondly, concealed equipment may be more susceptible to damage or malfunction. When equipment is hidden away, it is less likely to be regularly inspected and maintained, increasing the risk of undetected issues that can reduce its overall reliability. Thirdly, proper ventilation and environmental protection are crucial for the longevity and proper functioning of telecommunications equipment. Enclosing equipment in poorly ventilated spaces or areas prone to water damage can lead to overheating, corrosion, and other environmental hazards that compromise its performance. While the NEC does not specify the exact distance or height at which equipment should be located, the general principle is that it should be within reasonable reach of qualified personnel. This means that the equipment should be easily accessible without requiring specialized tools, extensive physical effort, or the removal of significant obstructions. In addition to accessibility, several other factors should be considered when determining the placement of telecommunications equipment. Firstly, adequate ventilation is essential to prevent overheating and ensure the equipment operates within a specified temperature range. Secondly, protection from water damage is crucial to avoid corrosion and electrical hazards. Equipment should be placed in locations where it is not exposed to leaks, spills, or excessive humidity. Thirdly, the placement of equipment should be considered with respect to other building systems such as electrical panels and heating, ventilation, and air conditioning ducts to avoid conflicts and ensure proper clearances for maintenance and access. In summary, Article 800.52b of the National Electrical Code mandates readily accessible locations for telecommunications equipment to ensure quick access for servicing, prevent obstructions that delay response times, enhance reliability, and promote safety. By adhering to these guidelines, building owners and managers can ensure that telecommunications infrastructure is properly maintained and readily available when needed. The specific requirements of Article 800.52b aim to ensure that telecommunications equipment is not only functional but also easily serviceable and accessible when necessary. There are many different aspects that must be accounted for. Qualified personnel should be able to quickly locate, inspect, and maintain the equipment without facing undue obstacles. The rationale behind this stems from the critical role that telecommunications systems play in modern buildings. These systems support essential functions such as emergency communication, data transmission, and building management systems. If the equipment is hidden or difficult to access, it can impede timely maintenance and repairs, leading to disruptions in these crucial services. For instance, during a power outage or other emergency situation, quick access to telecommunications equipment can be vital for restoring communication lines and coordinating response efforts. Secondly, inaccessible equipment can pose safety risks to both maintenance personnel and building occupants. Attempting to access equipment in cramped or hazardous locations can increase the risk of accidents and injuries. Furthermore, concealed equipment may be more susceptible to tampering or unauthorized access, potentially compromising the security of the telecommunications network. Thirdly, proper placement of telecommunications equipment can also contribute to its longevity and reliability. By locating equipment in well-ventilated areas that are protected from moisture and other environmental hazards, building owners can minimize the risk of equipment failure and extend its lifespan. In order to determine the most suitable location for telecommunications equipment, several factors should be taken into account. Firstly, the physical layout of the building and the available space should be considered. Equipment should be placed in areas where it can be easily accessed without obstructing passageways or creating safety hazards. Secondly, the environmental conditions in the proposed location should be assessed. Equipment should be protected from extreme temperatures, humidity, and other environmental factors that could damage its components. Thirdly, the proximity of other building systems, such as electrical panels and HVAC ducts, should be taken into account to avoid conflicts and ensure proper clearances for maintenance and access. While the NEC does not provide a definitive list of what constitutes a readily accessible location, it does offer some general guidance. The Code emphasizes the importance of ensuring that qualified personnel can easily reach and service the equipment without requiring specialized tools or excessive physical effort. Some examples of locations that would typically be considered readily accessible include dedicated equipment rooms, telecommunications closets, and open areas with adequate clearance around the equipment. On the other hand, locations that would generally be considered not readily accessible include enclosed spaces with limited access, areas behind locked doors, and locations that require the removal of significant obstructions to reach the equipment. In practice, determining whether a particular location meets the requirements of Article 800.52b often requires a case-by-case assessment. Factors such as the size and type of equipment, the frequency of maintenance, and the qualifications of the personnel who will be servicing the equipment should all be taken into consideration. In addition to the specific requirements of Article 800.52b, there are also several other relevant considerations when planning the placement of telecommunications equipment. Firstly, it is important to ensure that the equipment is properly grounded and bonded to protect against electrical hazards. Secondly, the equipment should be installed in accordance with the manufacturer's instructions and any applicable industry standards. Thirdly, the equipment should be clearly labeled and identified to facilitate maintenance and troubleshooting. By following these guidelines, building owners and managers can ensure that telecommunications equipment is not only readily accessible but also properly installed, maintained, and protected, contributing to the overall reliability and safety of the building's telecommunications infrastructure. Article 800.52b plays a critical role in ensuring the safe and efficient operation of telecommunications systems in buildings. By mandating readily accessible locations for equipment, the Code promotes timely maintenance, reduces safety risks, and enhances the overall reliability of these essential systems. It's important to remember that the NEC serves as a minimum standard, and in many cases, it may be necessary to go above and beyond the Code requirements to ensure the specific needs of a building and its occupants are met.